Hey y'all. So today is September 7th. So the day right after the new moon in Virgo, which is about our health, our routine, as well as getting organized, prioritizing our lives. It gives me teas of like getting prepared for the harvest because we're technically in fall season, even if it doesn't feel like fall. And when we think of fall, we think of like the leaves turning colors, the leaves getting into that orange, yellow, reddish type of tint. We see things winding down. We're going back to school or going back to our professions. And it's that time of like, not necessarily rejuvenation or even rebirth, but it's the time of just like taking things slow, but as well as being keen on the things that you want, your focus on the things that you want, right? You don't start for example, if you're going into college, because this would be the season that a lot of students are transitioning back into school or starting school, right? You start off as a freshman, then you become a sophomore, then you become a junior, then you finally finish with senior, right? And the expectation is like you're going to get to the senior level. Just because you start off as a freshman during orientation and getting your syllabus, the expectation is within however many years you'll become that senior, that a polished professional, or that person who has matured in whatever study. So this is the season where it's about manifestation, right? We know that Mercury is currently in Virgo right now. Mercury is the planet of communications, logistics, and so on and so forth. So that is the current theme that I'm picking up for the collective. Unlike the full moon ceremonies that I typically do, this will not be that extensive, and I'm not going to be looking for messages for each individual zodiac sign. So I'm not going to do like Aries all the way through Pisces, but what I am going to do is get a collective energy reading for all the 12 houses. So we're going to start off with some tarot. We're using the Modern Witch Tarot, and then we're going to pull up some messages from the Caroline Myers Archetype cards, and then we're going to finish off with an Earth Magic card. So hopefully everybody has been feeling well. Hopefully people are well balanced. Your health is up, your mental is grounded, your spirituality is expanding, and all that good stuff. Let's do one more shuffle. All right, Spirit, what is the collective energy for all the zodiac signs after this new moon in Virgo? What is the energy? We have this Ace of Wands. Let's get two more cards. Let's get another card for the collective energy, Spirit, in regards to what will the collective be experiencing after this Virgo new moon. We have two cards that kind of flipped over. We had this, and we had the Ten of Wands in reverse. Interestingly enough, we have the Nine of Wands and the Ten of Wands, and they go literally in consecutive order, and they're all wands. Interesting. So it's the energy of doing, being, existing, like maybe even breaking out of certain patterns, certain behaviors. Maybe it's expanding your education because this is the season, or it could be like work ethic or learning a new skills, branching off of the things that you know and going into like the not necessarily murky, but like unknown energy of expansion, right? You may have done something for so long, and now it's the season for you to change careers or to change your routes or to do something a little bit different, maybe even finding what is your new normal. So those are the things that I'm feeling for the collective. With this Ace of Wands being here and this Knight of Wands being in reverse and this Ten of Wands being in reverse, this is actually good energy, because what it's telling me is like a rebirth energy type of tease. And it's not like the energy of the, let's say, spring equinox when things are chirping, things are changing, things are becoming green, the weather is warming up. What I'm sensing here is like refining yourself. It's like having or being or embodying the essence of like clay, and you being your own sculptor, you being your own artist, you being your own leader, and navigating the space that best suits you. Interestingly enough, a butterfly just flew over the window, and that's speaking the energy of rebirthing your maybe agendas, maybe your thought patterns, maybe the people that you collectivize your energy with. Maybe it's time to change the way that you do commune with people. Maybe it's time to take steps back and seeing where things have been iffy or where things have been inconsistent, and what do you need to do to make it a lot more smoother. With this Ace of Wands here, this is a new beginning, a passionate new beginning. This is the energy of making things happen, right? It's giving me Miss Frizzletees if you were or are a 90s baby and watched like the Magic School Bus. It's the energy of like, we got to explore, we got to discover, we got to figure it out, we have to make things happen. And I see that's the energy of the collective, this Ace of Wands energy, making things happen and being unapologetic about it, going out for yours, whatever yours means. This could be a passionate new relationship, this could be new projects, this could be travels, this could be adventures, but it's the energy of like, not necessarily not thinking about it, but it's also like not having that paralysis analysis where it's like, I don't know, should I? Or what if something happens? Or I don't know. It's like getting out of your own head or getting out of your own way and making things happen. With this Nine of Wands in reverse, typically upright, it would represent like taking a step back to see things clearly. This is also the card that is associated with that Chiron energy, that childhood, wounded energy, whether it's like, neglect, abuse, or it could be something as small as, there's things in your childhood you weren't allowed to do or allowed to say, and now that you're grown, it's kind of like, can I do what I really want to do? Can I stand in my truth? Am I secure enough to step away from people who don't match my energy or don't show me the love that I deserve? But in reverse, it's kind of like avoiding that. In reverse, it's kind of like either you're in the energy of avoidance where you're not dealing with those subconscious thoughts, you're not dealing with those hangups, those setbacks, or it's the energy of being stuck in that energy, right? And the energy of like, I'm not good enough, or self-loathing or insecurity, and feeling as if like I can't start my new life, I can't start new ventures because this, that, and the third. Sometimes our minds do truly play games on us, or is our subconscious trying to pull us back into being triggered or pull us back from becoming our best selves and going out for things that may be scary or may be different or may be challenging but rewarding at the end. And then we have this 10 of Wands in reverse and the 10 of Wands upright, so y'all can see. As you can see, her back is bending, and we know bad posture, bad backs causes a lot of back issues as you become older, right? So she's carrying these heavy sticks, and that represents exactly what you think it does. It's burdens, it's insecurities, it's addictions, it's whatever that burdens you in life in general. It doesn't have to be something so big. It doesn't even have to be philosophical. It could just be worrying about minute things or being like a worry wart or control freak. So like that becomes a burden. But as you can see, you can't carry these bags. It's giving me tease of Erykah Badu's bag lady. You don't want to be a bag lady. You don't want to grow a hump. You don't want to be in the energy of being in your head, but never being present, never being grounded, not giving you the love and the care that you deserve, not being in the energy of self-care. So I feel like with these energies, interestingly enough, especially with this Ace of Wands and this 10 of Wands, they're kind of opposing and they are in different directions. I feel like this might be the energy that I'm feeling for the collective of like, which way do I go? Do I go outside of my own limitations and explore these new ventures? Or do I stay what is comfortable? It sucks. It's burdensome. It may trigger me, but that's something that I know because I'm familiar with it. It's kind of like the saying, the devil you know versus the devil that you don't know. Sometimes we think of things as like this big problem, this colossal problem, like, oh, I can never do this, or I can never get out of this, or my lot in life is this routine, is this life, is this relationship, or whatever the case may be. And it's because fear, of course, fake evidence appearing as real, but also it's a familiarity. Like, yeah, it might be toxic. Yeah, it might be stressful. Yeah, I might be at my wit's ends, but at least I know how to maneuver through this situation. It's not fun, but I'm so used to it. I know how to navigate through it. So it's the energy of which direction that you want to take. With tarot, especially the major arcanas, the number one card within the major arcanas is the Magician card, which is very much Virgo energy, the energy of manifestation. Life is what you make of it. So Spirit is asking the collective, how do you want to live your life? Do you want to live your life in your authenticity, or do you want to live your life for other people's gazes, other people's expectations? Do you want to be a backseat passenger to your own life, or do you want to stick up and advocate for yourself? Which role are you committed to playing consistently? Consistently. Consistent love, consistent boundaries, consistent evolution. Okay, let's see what we're going to pull out with this archetype deck. Let's see. Ooh. Let me shuffle first. Spirit, can you give us some? This card wanted to fly out, so I'm going to let it fly out. And it isn't a depiction, actually. You'll see with the other cards that there are depictions. But this particular card, there isn't a depiction, and it's really you asking yourself. It's kind of like a man in the mirror, and I'll read it. Light attributes, blank. And it says shadow attributes, blank. So this is you personally looking at yourself and seeing how within this reading, how does this apply? What are the light attributes? These are the things that are most positive and most idealistic. And the shadow attributes are like the subconscious, those things that we don't see about ourselves, right? Those triggers that other people know so well, but we may not be aware of. Let's get a second card for the collective, Spirit, in regards to the archetype. We also have Destroyer, and Destroyer reads light attributes. Releasing what is potentially destructive, preparing for a new life, shadow attributes. Intoxication with destructive power, destroying others' dreams or potential. So with the Destroyer, it's kind of like the Tower. It gives me that energy within the major arcanas, which is number 16. And this energy is like either you destroy things to build things back up, which is the Tower moment. It gives you a slight surprise shake up in your life, in your routines, or whatever the case may be. Sometimes it's like dramatic, and sometimes it's just like, oh yeah, I could have done that better. I need to, refine the plans. But regardless to what, it's there to benefit you, regardless of how you interpret the Tower moment. And I'm feeling that energy with the Destroyer. There might be certain burdens, and let me put it back as it came out within this particular reading, that you need to drop, and you have dropped it. With this 10 of Wands being in reverse, you have dropped those burdens, those baggages. But it's kind of like, all right, now that the Tower has tumbled, what are you going to rebuild in that position or in that spot? And perhaps the ground is faulty. Maybe the foundation is faulty and you can't rebuild. So then what? So Spirit's asking us, are we matching the energy of our true divine purpose, of our soul path, or are we doing things just to do things? And if so, how is that benefiting us or hindering us? Because Spirit is not going to force you to do anything. But the thing I have noticed about Spirit is that if Spirit wants you to move one way and you want to move another way, Spirit's going to hit you with Tower moments after Tower moments after Tower moments, where you're going to feel either a lack of dignity, a lack of esteem, a lack of even just consistency, just chaos energy around you, where you're going to have to pull out, divest, or whatever the case may be, because you just cannot be in that energy, whether it's people, places, or things. Spirit's not going to force you, but Spirit's going to make it real tough for you to exist in something that is not meant for you. And as deep and harsh and this and the third of the Tower moment is, it's always there to benefit you. We can always look back in our lives and see certain points in our lives. We're like, oh my God, when I was in the thick of it, I was so heartbroken. I was so invested. I was so this, that, and the third. Now that this thing is over, I'm so glad that I'm no longer in that energy. I'm no longer entertaining this, that, and the third. Like, things are better now. It's always better afterwards, right? It's kind of like the saying, hindsight is 20/20. And then we have mentor. So maybe you might be looking for a mentor, or a mentor might be coming into your lives, right? Now that the slate is clear because of the Destroyer energy, now it's kind of like, what do you rebuild? Maybe you may have the vision, but you don't have the tools. Maybe you have the tools, but you don't have the blueprint, or maybe you have the blueprint and you get my drift. But the point is to make this more of a better experience and not just going through the cycles of tower moment after tower moment, destroyer after destroyer, or trying to even destroy other people's dreams and goals. You know, sometimes when people get knocked down so many times, they become very envious, very jaded, very jealous, and so on and so forth. So now they live to burst other people's bubbles. So you don't want to be that either. Mentor, light attributes. Passing on wisdom and refining students' character, shadow attributes. Inability to allow the student to move on to the role of master, imparting false instruction. So as I was saying with the mentor energy, you want to be, you know, eventually the master, the sensei, but you're going to start off as a grasshopper, or maybe someone's going to come into your life and challenge you to become the master that you are. Maybe you have certain wisdom, certain gifts, certain insight that people could utilize, but like, you may not be interested in it, or you may not know how to do it, and this might be the nudge that you need. It's kind of like when they say the student is ready, the master arrives, the master appears. It might be a situation like that. Now that you're ready for this wisdom to take this new avenue within this life with this Ace of Wands, now might be the time for you to, you know, find your mentor. Or maybe you've mastered all you needed to master. You dropped the burdens with this 10 of Wands in reverse, and now it's time for you to play master in someone else's life. Impart that wisdom, give them the guidance and the cheat codes that you had to learn. But as the old saying goes, every generation is supposed to do better than the next generation. You know, when you know something, you can't unknow it. So the expectation is to do better. So it might be challenging in different aspects of your life. Now let's pull from another deck, this last deck, and it is the Earth Magic Oracle deck by Stephen Farmer. Whew. This is inspirational. Let's shuffle. So I'm feeling two energies for the collective, which is interesting because the beginning of the year, I have been talking about how there are two groups of people. And it's not Republicans versus Democrats. It's more so your energy frequency, your energy signature, where there are going to be people who are on this new moon energy, kind of like the new moon in Virgo that we had. And this new moon energy is essentially talking about you experiencing the gifts, the wisdoms, the experiences that you desired, because in 2020 you did some shadow work. Maybe your Saturn has returned, maybe you have cut off toxic people, maybe you got into some therapy, maybe whatever the case may be, you did some type of work in 2020 that had to do with your personal development, your improvement, as well as your overall just spiritual journey as a spiritual being having a human experience. And in 2021, this year, you would be reaping what you sow in 2020. Then the full moon group of people are those who did not do the work in 2024, regardless of what the reason is. And trust and believe me, 2020 was a doozy. So, of course, a lot of people did not have the time to be grounded in self and see what best suits the need of the individual. And now in 2021, Spirit is asking you to do that soul searching, to do that investment in self, that shadow work. And in 2022, if completed and done, then you will be reaping the benefits. So I'm seeing that within this particular spread as well. There are those who are manifesting a new life, so to speak. And then there's another collective that's getting into their shadow work and discovering what is that new life and what is the path that they need to be on to get that new life. Let's do one more shuffle. And then we'll see what comes out. Let me get the cards uniformed. Okay. What is the collective energy in regards to this Virgo new moon? We have cloud shape-shifting. Let's pull out another card. We have dragonfly emergence. And let's get one more card for the collective spirit for this Virgo new moon energy. What does the collective need to know? One more card for the collective energy. Hopefully this reading is resonating, and if it does, please like, subscribe, share, and comment down below. We have Lotus Flower. We have 4 instead of 3. I love when this card comes out. And then we have Crystal Focus. And the interesting thing is I have the Amethyst, I have a dark amethyst, and I have a lighter amethyst here as well. So we're on the same frequency. Same frequency as a collective, same energy signatures. Change up the who, what, when, where, why, and the plot line, the storyline is still the same. But nonetheless, with clouds, shape-shifting, what I'm seeing here for the collective is that Spirit is asking you where in your life that you need to be more flexible, be more adaptable. It's giving me that Pisces, Gemini, Virgo, this is Virgo season, Sagittarius energy, because those are the zodiac signs that are mutable. They're more flexible. They're more adaptable. Like, they are the vibes. They are the people who are not trying to force people's will or trying to like stand on this particular thing. They're not stubborn. They're more like they go with the flow. They commune. They kind of could be the, you know, vibe of the party, or the people who are just consistently there. But it's the energy of like, how do you become more adaptable to get your plans done, to get your plans completed, to do what makes you feel most authentic to self. When you see clouds, are always shaping. They never look the same. Like, especially when you see when it's gray and like those little thin lines where it looks like the clouds have like shredded itself. And then you'll see the clouds, they're full, they're thick, they're puffy, and it's giving the energy of like either it's about to rain or it's just a cloudy day. But clouds in and of itself tells you what is the weather, what is the energy, what is going on with the astrology. And that may be some energy Spirit is asking you to incorporate. Maybe you're too stubborn, or you're doing things a certain way, and Spirit's like, there are multiple ways to get to Rome. There are multiple ways to get to where you need to get to. Maybe you got to look at it from a different perspective. With the dragonfly energy here, and it's saying emergence, it's giving me the energy of mentor. Either a mentor is coming in, or you're feeling be somebody's mentor. But with this dragonfly emergence, you see this woman literally coming out of the water. It's giving me like coming out of the lagoon, coming out of the lake. She might be the Loch Ness monster. She might be, but it's the energy of coming and becoming and arising from the ashes, kind of like the Sphinx energy. But it's more so like, you've arrived, like you've been from the bottom and you're climbing up to the top, and not as a social climber, but more so like evolution. It's arising, it's ascending, it's reaching your highest heights unapologetically. And then we have Lotus Flower here, as I adore. What this Lotus Flower is that a lot of people may or may not know, but Lotus flowers actually grow from the mud. So they grow from darkness. And when you think of plants, especially trees, they need the sun, they need that exposure. But with the lotus flower, it grows from darkness, and you may not know it's there. But when it's time for it to sprout, when it's time for it to bud and emerge, it's kind of like a mini miracle, because you wouldn't expect it, but here it is in its beauty, growing from places that are murky, growing from places that don't have the best or easiest survival terrain. And here it is, as beautiful as it wants to be, as firm as it wants to be. And that's talking about your energy, your transformation. As the card says, Lotus Flower, unfoldment. It is your time to become your truest self. Whatever is burdening you, whatever is stopping you, whatever making you feel as if you can't, whatever that can't energy, that fake evidence appearing as real, Spirit is asking you to take that can't and make it a can. I don't want to sound like too Obama with the whole yes we can energy, but it's really telling you, you got it within. Like, Spirit believes in you. Spirit is putting the battery in your back, giving you the cheat codes, giving you everything that you need for your best success. But Spirit's like, you need to believe in yourself, believe in your intuition. Certain things, you just can't really say it for what it is. It's just a feeling. It's just a thought. You just don't know, but it just resonates. And believe in that, because sometimes science can't explain for certain things. It just is. And the Spirit is saying, if you feel it in your gut, believe in that, trust in that. Because Spirit can't give you any more messages if the messages that Spirit gives you, the small messages, you're not listening to. Maybe there's a certain pathway, maybe there's a certain benefit that you're not seeing, or you could possibly tap into if you trust your intuition, right? And finally, we have crystals. Focus. Stay focused. Stay focused. Stay focused on what you want. Again, with this lotus flower, it grows from the ground. It grows from the mud. And you don't see it. But it knows its evolution. It knows its trajectory, because plants know when it's the season to grow and when it's the season to fall off the trees, branches, or whatever the case may be. They know their cycle, just like we as women, we know our menstrual cycles. We know, what our body needs, what our soul needs. And what Spirit is saying, go for that, trust in that, invest in that, because you deserve that, right? And watch over your crown chakra, especially if you're listening to people who are giving you bad advice or they're jealous of you. There's just some of that like energy of like, I don't trust it. Spirit's like, it's a good reason why you don't trust it. There might be somebody who's jealous of you, secretly envious of you, and they're trying to get you off your square, get you off your direction, because misery loves company. Protect your crown chakra, protect your energy. And if it seems deceitful, believe in it. Sometimes you may not know all the details, but Spirit's like, if you have a funny feeling, believe in it. Okay? And if you have a feeling that something may be great, invest in it. There's no harm in seeing what the follow through has for you, because you might be emerging into your greatness without you even really knowing it. But you have to have the flexibility to bring that energy in. But that is the reading that I have for the collective under this Virgo new moon energy. This reading will cover you until the next new moon, which will be in Libra. So that will be a doozy. We'll be talking about partnerships. But there is a full moon in Pisces that's coming up, I think, next week. So stay tuned for that. And then we will return back to our regular full moon ceremonies. And if you haven't checked out the Aquarius full moon reading that I did about a week ago, we did that for each individual sign. So Aries all the way through Pisces. What are some themes that are happening within the collective and individual signs? And you can also find me on social media. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, YouTube. Paint Your Truth everywhere. On Instagram, it's Paint Your Truth _ PAINTYOURTRUTH. And on Instagram, you would just add the _. Don't forget the _. And I shall see you on our next Paint Your Truth session. That is our self-care, wellness, holistic self-care that we give to ourselves via painting. We're not trying to be the next artists of tomorrow. It's just a method. It's just a tool to invest in self, to invest in our mental state, making sure that we check in with what our soul needs, whether it's rest, whether it's creativity, whatever the case may be. And sometimes we do certain interesting things, such as pop-out art, where we add dry paint to dried canvases to give it more of a pop-up effect. And definitely check out the content. And if you are in Massachusetts and you would like to participate in a Paint Your Truth workshop session, definitely reach out to me via email at paintyourtruth.art@gmail.com. Everything is in the description box down below. Check out the other videos on my channel, and I shall see you on the next video. With all that being said, be blessed, be enlightened, be loved, and out. Peace.